Guardians of the Galaxy captured people's hearts with its unserious tone, its funny lines, and superb action sequences. To think that the installment is the end of the series is hard, but it's Marvel we're talking about, and they don't usually stick with the rules they made for themselves. So we bet there's another one of Guardians of the Galaxy, a fourth one. So here's everything we know about Guardians of the Galaxy 4. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is finished, marking the end of James Gunn's series. Even though Gunn won't be back due to his work on DCU, the movie hints at a new Guardians team, sparking hopes for a Volume 4. While Gunn won't return, beloved characters often live on, especially if they're moneymakers. The finale teases the possibility of more adventures beyond the trilogy. Despite the uncertainty, the success of the franchise makes Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4 a plausible idea. The financial appeal of the characters suggests they could endure even without Gunn at the helm. The conclusion opens doors for new narratives, leaving fans optimistic about the prospect of another installment. Marvel Studios likes making movie series longer. Thor: Love and Thunder, part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is an example with 4 movies. Captain America and Spider-Man are also getting more than 3 movies, like with Captain America: New World Order and the upcoming Spider-Man 4. Now, with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 finished, there's a chance it might become a longer series too. The movie ends with a hint that more adventures are coming, even if the director James Gunn isn't coming back. Marvel Studios has a history of extending stories, so even if new people lead and Gunn isn't there, Guardians of the Galaxy 4 could happen. The idea is even without the original director, the success of the characters might push Marvel to continue their story, so Guardians of the Galaxy might follow the trend of other Marvel movies and become more than just a trilogy. We haven't heard much about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4, and James Gunn, the director, has hinted that it might not happen. Marvel Studios hasn't officially said it's in the works either, but that doesn't mean it won't happen eventually. Marvel often leaves things open, introducing characters without giving them their own movies right away. James Gunn has spoken about the fact that he always intended the films to be a trilogy, saying at the European premiere, quote, "I was planning on it being 3 films, and I was always planning on this story really being the story of Rocket. I knew that to fulfill that story, I really needed to go back to where he started." He continued, "To get to the end of the story, we need to go back to the beginning, and that's what we did." It's possible, though, that the end of the story only refers to this particular group of the Guardians. Talking on the Hero Nation podcast back in January 2022, Gunn said that the threequel will be, quote, "the last time people will see this team of Guardians." Gunn's not-so-positive comments about Volume 4 doesn't necessarily mean there won't be more Guardians movies. He doesn't own the characters, and considering Volume 3 made a whopping $850 million at the box office, it's a tempting idea for Marvel to continue the story. However, Gunn did leave open the possibility of somebody else taking on a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. If that does happen, he has one stipulation though. Quote, "I think as long as somebody brings themselves to it and doesn't just try to copy that style, I think it can be really amazing, and there are so many directors I would like to do that. And I would love to see it happen." Disney, which owns Marvel, has slowed down on some Marvel projects according to Bob Iger, the mastermind. They seem to be focusing on the ones that make the most money, and given the success of the Guardians of the Galaxy series, especially with Volume 3's big earnings, Volume 4 could be a top priority. Marvel has a habit of keeping things under wraps until they are ready to spill the beans, so there's still hope for more space adventures with the Guardians in the future. The next Guardians of the Galaxy movie could have a mix of old and new Marvel characters. In the post-credit scene of Guardians of the Galaxy 3, we saw a team forming with familiar faces, like Rocket Raccoon, Groot, Kraglin, and some new ones, like Adam Warlock, Cosmo the Space Dog, and Phyla, played by Kai Zen. It's a strong team, but there are some challenges. Kraglin might lack confidence, Phyla's on the younger side, and Adam Warlock might not be the brightest, plus Blurp seems to not bring much to the table at all. Despite these quirks, it'll be interesting to see how they work together to protect the galaxy, especially if they show up in Avengers Secret Wars. With characters like Nova or Moondragon potentially joining the team, could get even more exciting in future Marvel movies. Guardians of the Galaxy 4 is likely to have a different cast from the first 3 movies. Zoe Saldana and Dave Bautista, who played Gamora and Drax, have made it clear they're ready to move on from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They've even suggested that Marvel should find new actors to take on those roles. Quote, "I don't think this is the end for the Guardians," Zoe Saldana told The Hollywood Reporter. "It is the end for me as Gamora." Appearing on The Tonight Show in February 2023, Dave Bautista also confirmed that this is it for Drax. Quote, "This is my 7th film as Drax and my 3rd Guardians movie. It was like our trilogy," he said. That's kind of what we all signed up for, to do a trilogy, and I think this will be the last version of our Guardians of the Galaxy. We had all those perfect character arcs and such a storybook ending. I constantly relate it to the way I ended my wrestling career. I ended it on a storybook note, and I would never go back and tarnish that. And it's the same with this. With Drax, I just got to end the perfect way. Whether Karen Gillan as Nebula and Palm Clementif as Mantis return depends on how they feel about how their stories concluded in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Clementif revealed that she'd find it hard for Mantis to be written by anybody other than James Gunn, saying, quote, "I can't imagine playing Mantis with someone else writing the words." While Karen Gillan could return as Nebula, although she doesn't know if she will. On the day filming wrapped for her on the current movie, she posted on Instagram, quote, "I don't know if Nebula will return beyond this. It's possible that this is her final chapter. And if that's the case, then I just want to thank you to @James Gunn for giving me such an interesting, complex, and fascinating character to play." On the other hand, Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel are expected to keep voicing Rocket and Groot. The focus might shift to the new team introduced in Volume 3, led by characters like Adam Warlock and Cosmo the Space Dog. So while the familiar faces of Gamora and Drax might not be back, the voices of Rocket and Groot, along with the fresh characters, could continue their adventures in Guardians of the Galaxy 4. Even if Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4 doesn't happen, Volume 3's ending brings back Chris Pratt's Star-Lord to the MCU. He's now on Earth hanging out with his grandpa, and what comes next in his story is a bit mysterious. Maybe he'll join the Avengers in the Rise of Doom, or maybe he'll get his own Earth-based adventures, dealing with the challenge of swapping Universal quests for some odd neighbors. Guardians of the Galaxy 4's story isn't clear yet, but Volume 3 hinted that Rocket Raccoon might take charge of the new team. Living up to the legacy of the original Guardians won't be easy. They could face big cosmic threats like the Universal Church of Truth or the Shi'ar Empire, testing the new group's unity. It's a chance for the franchise to expand the MCU's tales, possibly becoming Marvel's version of Star Wars. There's a feeling that Star-Lord might not stick to his retirement, possibly becoming part of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4's story. Even though this might seem like a step back, Chris Pratt's return is a big deal for the MCU, and ruling him out completely would be unwise. As of now, there's no official word on when Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4 will come out. Marvel Studios usually started the franchise in August as it was seen as a riskier choice. But once it became super popular, they moved the sequels to May for a bigger audience. If we're hopeful, the earliest we might see Volume 4 is in spring of 2027, making it part of Phase 7. And there ends the video, folks. Make sure to check out our other videos, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.